How much of a mess is this when I go walk in here?
Don't go that way.
Okay, all right.
It's a triple homicide in a relatively quiet area of the county. Things like this just don't happen in Chuliota.
When you enter a scene like that with several bodies, family members, it's heartbreaking.
Tell me what happened. I don't know what happened.
He became infatuated with this lady from Bulgaria. Sylvie would charge money through a social platform for her to do dances, things, whatever.
If you can please, pretty please, send me one of your videos.
I'm gonna pray for you, brother. Nobody loves you anymore or any less.
It's either a really incredible acting job or he didn't do it.
New trial out of Florida. The People versus Grant Amato. He faces the potential of the death penalty.
And when his parents found out about his, quote, relationship with Sylvie and the tremendous amounts of money that he was spending on her, they contacted her, and that effectively ended his relationship with Sylvie. That's what this case is about.
The evidence will show that there is a complete lack of physical evidence linking Mr. Amato to these deaths.
I mean, this case had everything. It had sex, drugs, it was just missing the rock and roll.
Oh, poor baby, I'm so sorry.
At first glance, this looks like a quiet Florida home. No signs of forced entry, no obvious struggle, no history of violence. But inside were 3 bodies, a mother, a father, and a son, all killed by gunshot wounds. And the person police would soon focus on wasn't a stranger. It was the one person they never thought capable of it. Welcome back to Killers Among Us. Here we dive deep into the world of obsession, addiction, and the psychological fractures that turn ordinary lives into crime scenes. I post stories like this up to 2 times a week, so if true crime, mysteries, and psychological explorations are your thing, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming. Now, let's get into today's case. Chuliota, Florida is the kind of place most people never think about. A small, quiet community just outside Orlando. Tree-lined streets, families who know each other by name. Nothing about it suggested it would become the backdrop for one of Florida's most disturbing family annihilation cases. On the morning of January 25, 2019, deputies were dispatched to a home on Trotter Drive to conduct a welfare check. One of the Amato family members hadn't shown up for work, something completely out of character. When officers knocked, no one answered, so they forced their way inside. What they found was immediate and horrifying. In the kitchen, Chad Amato, a 59-year-old pharmacist, lay dead on the floor, shot execution style. Nearby was his son, Cody Amato, 31, also shot and killed. Then, in a home office, officers found Margaret Amato, 61, slumped over her desk, dead from a gunshot wound to the head. 3 members of the same family, killed inside their own home. There were no signs of a break-in, no valuables missing. It didn't look like a robbery. It looked personal.
Deputies responding to a violent scene while doing a well-being check at a home in Chuliota.
A triple homicide.
Deputies have been surrounding this house for hours, collecting evidence surrounding a murder investigation.
When you enter a scene like that with several bodies, family members, obviously it's heartbreaking.
The case was assigned to Seminole County Homicide Detective Eva Marie Multari and her partner, Danny Anderson.
Why do we have 3 family members deceased, and who did this? The mother, I observed, she was at her desk, so you could tell that she was working. The father was in the kitchen. It appeared he had just come home based on he had his lunch bag near him. And then the brother was in the doorway coming in from the garage as if he was coming home from somewhere.
At first, the crime made no sense to the detectives or to local reporters, including Michael Williams, who covered the case for the Orlando Sentinel.
It's a triple homicide in a relatively quiet area of the county. Things like this just don't happen in Chiliota.
And detectives found it strange that the scene almost appeared to have been staged. A pistol next to the dead brother, Cody. A gun in a holster on the father's body that seemed to be backwards for a right-handed person.
There was no evidence of forced entry. Nothing appeared to be taken from the home.
But one brother living at home was missing, Grant Amato.
So then our investigation led us to find him and see what was going on.
As detectives processed the scene, one detail stood out immediately. One family member was unaccounted for. Grant Amato, the youngest son. Grant was 29 years old, unemployed, recently living with his parents, and now missing. At first, investigators considered that he might also be a victim. But as the hours passed, suspicion grew. Because the more detectives learned about Grant Amato, the harder it became to believe this was a coincidence. By most accounts, the Amato family lived what many would call the American dream. Chad Amato was a pharmacist, intelligent, disciplined, financially responsible. Margaret Amato worked in healthcare administration and was known for her kindness, often described as the emotional center of the family.
Her personality really shone through with her work outside of the office. She always cared almost to a fault, and chose to see the best in people no matter what the circumstances. This culminated in her rescuing an abandoned and abused horse named Lady in the year 2008. This was no small undertaking for her. It was obvious that previous humans had both scared and scarred the horse, but Margaret, she tried her very best to care for it. She would go on to rent a nearby stable for Lady and would visit her every single day. With patience and persistence, they slowly bonded over the years, and by the year 2018, Lady was a completely different horse.
Their sons, Jason, Cody, and Grant, grew up in a stable home, with support, structure, and opportunity. Cody followed the path his parents envisioned. He became a nurse, financially independent, respected. Grant did not. Grant had once been on a similar path. He studied nursing, then anesthesia assistance. But academically, he struggled. He failed critical exams, lost his place in the program. That failure, quiet at first, became a defining wound. In 2018, while working at a hospital, Grant made a catastrophic decision. He illegally administered propofol, a powerful anesthetic, to patients without authorization. The same drug linked to Michael Jackson's death. When staff discovered empty vials, Grant was fired. He was arrested, and his professional future collapsed overnight. His brother, Cody, paid over $8,000 in legal fees to help him. Charges were later dropped, but the damage was already done. Grant moved back in with his parents, unemployed, ashamed, and increasingly isolated. This is where obsession enters the story. Grant became heavily involved with an adult webcam site called MyFreeCams. There, he met a cam model known online as AdSuite, real name Sylvia. To Grant, she wasn't just a performer. She became a fixation. He spent hours watching her, messaging her, sending gifts, and most importantly, sending money. A lot of it. Grant told his family the money was being spent on building a streaming career. That was a lie.
My full name is Grant Amato.
It did not take long for detectives to learn what Grant Amato had been hiding from them.
The turning point in Grant's life was when he was accused of stealing medicine from the hospital job that he worked at. Ultimately, he was terminated. He lost his job and he started spending most of his time at home. He got into gaming on the computer system. He was really like a computer guru. And then he got onto the internet and started watching pornography.
Hello.
And he became infatuated with this lady from Bulgaria. Her name was Sylvie. And Sylvie would charge money through a social platform for her to do dances, things, whatever.
In the interrogation, Grant was hesitant to admit it when detectives asked him what he had been doing since he lost his job.
Well, what I was doing is, over the past 4 months or something like that, I've been talking to this woman online.
Who's she?
She's, as embarrassing as it is, she's a cam model.
A what?
A cam model. Do either of you guys know what that is?
They soon found out he had become hooked on a thriving internet sex site located in the Eastern European country of Bulgaria. Operators there make big money catering to lonely American men with the lure of women like Sylvie.
No, you would like to pull me to you.
He sort of got deeper and deeper into this relationship. So what he did was he started lavishing her with gifts, sending her lingerie, sending her sex toys, and she would model the lingerie for him.
You know, it wasn't really my intention to continue talking to this woman, but it just kind of happened. And then because there was like that emotional connection, I guess you could say, between her and me, like I like, you know, it felt like a relationship, you know.
Yeah, he was very talkative about her. He loved her, and you know, we tried to even explain to him that, you know, is this a real relationship? She lives in Bulgaria, you're here, but he believed it. He really did.
The longer you kept with this one person, the more you could pay and the more sexually explicit it would get. And it was getting to a point where he was spending, you know, $1,000 to $2,000 a day just to watch her, you know, do certain things on the video. And he couldn't help himself.
All right, Sylvia, look at me. I am outside going to check the mail. And I'm asking you if you can please, pretty please, send me one of your videos. I love it so much when you just send them to me. Yeah, I don't like buying your stuff. It makes me feel weird. Could you please send me one, though?
Okay. So how much do you think you spent on this?
Probably close to like $200,000, I'd say.
$200,000?
Yeah.
And where'd the money come from?
Money came from me, my brother, and then my dad.
He went through all of his money, then eventually he started getting money from Cody, and then he started stealing his parents' money.
He ran up huge bills on his family's credit cards, forging their signatures, and even took out a fake line of credit on his parents' mortgage.
In fact, his dad, Chad, remortgaged his house and just took it as a loss. And he was getting close to retirement. It all came to a crashing end there.
By the time his parents discovered the truth, Grant had spent over $200,000 of family funds. Eventually, the total exceeded $300,000. Their retirement savings gone. Chad and Margaret didn't abandon their son. They tried to save him. They paid over $100,000 for an addiction rehabilitation program. Chad even contacted Sylvia directly. He didn't demand money back. He just wanted the interaction to stop. When Grant returned home, Chad laid down strict rules. No porn, no contact with Sylvia, no access to money, mandatory therapy. Any violation meant immediate eviction. It was harsh, but it was also their last attempt.
After moving back home, his father had some very simple and basic but concrete demands. If Grant was allowed to be back inside, he would have to follow a very strict set of rules. Outlined in a handwritten document, these guidelines were: Grant was to find a job, pay back all loans and stolen money, totaling over $320,000, and formally apologize to his family. He was to start therapy immediately, and under no circumstances was the family to give him any more money. Alongside these demands was a checklist that would result in him being kicked out of the house if any of the following steps were broken. And these steps included any new theft, watching porn, talking to Sylvia, leaving or locking the house, getting arrested, committing any crimes, or, last and most importantly, abusing the family. Emotions, love, trust, or physical. This man, after not only providing for his family for his entire life, but also saving money and helping them through their education and beyond, was putting his last effort into his extraordinarily dysfunctional son. The guidelines ended with one paragraph, detailing what would happen if Grant betrayed his father's trust or broke any of the rules. You will be arrested, sit in jail with no bail, public defender, no paid attorney. You will serve a prison term or parole and reside in a shelter or homeless shelter. You will never be allowed back into the family. The document ended with a final, no key to the house until further notice.
One thing that they never did do was they never reported the thefts to the police. They did everything they could to help him. When it was discovered that Grant was also stealing money from his aunt, his grandmother, and some of his cousins, his brother Cody actually offered to pay off the debts. So they really just wanted to protect him.
But when Grant abruptly left the clinic after fewer than 2 weeks, his father and mother brought him to this restaurant and laid out a set of rules to follow if he wanted to live at home.
Among the rules, Grant was to get a job. He was to stop spending all of his time online. He was to never talk to Sylvie again, and he was to apologize to his family.
For a short time, Grant complied. Then Margaret, out of sympathy, let Grant message Sylvia using her phone.
But Grant's obsession with Sylvie was too much, and he called her again after persuading his mother to let him use her phone, to the fury of his father.
Oh, poor baby. I'm so sorry.
I didn't want to just stop cold turkey on it.
When Chad found out, he saw it as the final betrayal. Grant was told to leave.
So he had apparently found out, and then
Unhappy.
Right, and one of the stipulations was that he told me at the dinner was, if you speak to this woman again, you're out of the house. I'm kicking you out. You can pack up your shit, and then you're off my property. And then, because of the way that he used to be, he had told me that basically if that happens, that if I ever step back onto his property, that he would kill me.
That was the day before the murders, and he kicked them out of the house.
On January 24th, 2019, Grant returned to the house. Not to reconcile, but to kill. Margaret was working in her home office. Grant shot her in the back of the head.
The morning of January the 4th, 2019 began like any other. The Amato household was quiet, and both Chad and Cody were out for work for the day, while Margaret worked from home. Tragically, all peace would be obliterated in an instant. Outside of the residence, a hooded man stood watch, waiting to invade, and that man was Grant. With the home unlocked, he entered his family's house, before silently making his way to his mother's office, where he knew she was working. Before she could even react, Grant mercilessly shot her in the back of the head with a pistol. Just like that, he was now a cold-blooded killer, a murderous recluse who assassinated his very own family member.
He waited for Chad to return home. When Chad entered the kitchen, Grant shot him twice. Then Grant used Chad's phone to text Cody, claiming there was an emergency. Cody came home early. Grant shot him too.
Cody was described as an extremely dedicated worker. He was always at the hospital early, getting ready to take care of patients and talking with his colleagues about the day's plans. He had never missed a day of work and always stayed late when needed. The shifts for a nurse anesthetist were 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. They worked 16-hour days, and any hours worked after 12 hours were paid at double time, so people didn't regularly volunteer to leave. Cody worked with a man named Chris Sisko, who described their day at work on January 24th, 2019.
Our days are normally filled. They're very busy. But I do remember that that afternoon, it had kind of slowed down a little bit. And so what happens is there's 4 of us that are scheduled that 16-hour shift. And again, for some reason, if it slows down in the afternoon, what we'll do is either we have to stay there on call even though there's no cases going on, or if there's even sometimes no cases going on, sometimes the head anesthesiologist that's running the board for the day, who's in control of the board and of when we get to go and come, they will first ask us if there's any volunteers, if anybody wants to leave early. Well, that day I remember that none of us wanted to leave early. So instead of any volunteers, what will happen is we'll put all of our names in a hat and draw names out of a hat. And Cody's name came up first, and he was going to leave at like 9:30 that afternoon. And then
evening, afternoon or evening? You said afternoon.
Yeah, 9:30 p.m.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yep, 9:30 p.m. is when he was going to leave because we didn't need him. And then I would stay until 11 to cover until the night guy came in to cover the night shift.
It was slow and Cody was picked to leave first, but he actually left a little early. Chris described Cody wandering off to make a phone call, so he decided to sit down and have some lunch. At about 9:15, Cody popped his head in the door and said he was going to leave. He told Chris that he'd see him in the morning since they both had another shift together. Chris said that the next day he clocked into the hospital at 6:19 a.m. They had to be there by 7 a.m., but were allowed to clock in up to an hour early. He said that Cody would normally already be on site by the time he got there, but that day he wasn't.
When I first got in, I had clocked in at where we clock in at, and you walk right by that, and there's the surgery OR board where you can see where your case assignment is for the day. I had ran into a colleague of ours that typically works overnight, and she had said, Cody's not here. I haven't seen him yet. He's not in pre-op. Have you heard from him? And of course I was like, no, I just got here. I haven't heard from him yet. And so I went about, the next couple minutes. I went to pre-op just to see for myself, to see if he was there, and he wasn't there. So I looked at whatever room he was supposed to be in, and he wasn't in there. So then I ran into the colleague again, and she had expressed like a little bit more concern this time. And so I said, well, why don't I just try to call him or text him? So I tried to text him. And I know that when Cody has an iPhone like I do, and I know that when you have the iMessage, that when you send a text message, typically it goes through in blue, which means that the phone received the text message. And so when I text him, hey, where are you? It went through just green, like the phone didn't receive the text message, like it's either out of service or it's dead.
Had that ever happened before?
No, sir. Cody always had his phone on. He always had a charger on him. He always had it clipped to him. If I ever, throughout the day, if I had a question about anything, I knew that if I shot Cody a text, he would text me right back with, advice or whatever. So then when it went through green, it was concerning. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just try to give him a buzz. So I tried to call the phone, and it went, rang a couple times and went straight to voicemail.
To explain to anyone who hasn't used an iPhone, if you send a text from one iPhone to another, it will actually use the Apple software iMessage, which is now just called Messages. The same text will also pop up on your computer if you use a Mac. The text bubble in the app will be green when you're texting through Messages. If you text a non-iPhone, it will just send it as a standard SMS, and the text bubble will be blue. At the same time, if an iPhone user texts another iPhone user and the phone is off or it's out of service, the text bubble will appear blue because the iPhone sending the message can't confirm that the recipient is using the message's service. Chris made a few other calls and nobody had heard from Cody, and since it was now past 7 a.m., Chris called 911 and asked if they would perform a welfare or wellness check. Seminole County Sheriff's Deputy Todd Moterson arrived at the Amato home at about 9 a.m. He knocked on the door, pounded on windows, called out Cody's name, and even used the air horn on his sheriff's vehicle, which was a Ford F-150. He called Cody's cell phone, Chad's cell phone, and Margaret's cell phone, but got no answer. Cody's car was in the driveway, so Deputy Moterson believed there was cause to enter the home. After getting permission from a supervisor and waiting for backup to arrive, he used a knife to jimmy open the deadbolt on the back door. There was a large cabinet in front of the door, and they had to push it out of the way. It's unclear why the cabinet was in front of the door. Sometimes people will put something like that in front of a door they never use. But I also noticed in the deputy's body cam footage that the windows were covered with paper. It's never discussed anywhere. Once inside, they found the bodies of Chad, Margaret, and Cody Amato. All three had been killed with gunshot wounds to the head. Investigators believe that Margaret was shot first.
There were gunshot wounds identified on her face and head. And of note, on the left occipital scalp, which is the back of the head on the left side, there was an oval gunshot wound entrance.
Did you observe an exit wound?
Yes, and then so the other wound on the right cheek was an exit wound.
Margaret had been sitting at her computer and someone came up behind her and shot her in the back of the head. The last activity on the computer was at 4:44 p.m., January 24th. It was believed that Chad was killed after he got home from work at about 5:30.
So beginning on the back of the right ear, there's a gunshot wound entrance, and this one was associated with some kind of abrasions on the back of the ear, and it was focally lacerated, or it was the skin was torn. And I noticed that it went through the ear, and then it re-entered through the tragus, which is an area that's commonly pierced by some people of the ear, and it re-enters into the cranial cavity and then exits on the right forehead. So it was one wound track with multiple different entrances, exits, and then re-entries and re-exits. That one involved the skin and soft tissue in the area. It involved the temporal bone of the skull. It goes through the right frontal lobe of the brain. It fractures the right frontal bone of the skull.
And tell the jury the direction of that particular bullet.
And that wound course was from back to front, and it's from right to left and upwards.
The first shot to the back of Chad's head did not immediately kill him.
When I first saw Chad's body in the kitchen, I asked the investigators if he had been moved. It was my instinct that he was not in the correct position or in the position that he had died in. Based on my training and experience, his taking in the entire crime scene, the blood patterns, the movement in the blood in the kitchen, it seemed that he was not in the same positioning as he would have been at the time he died. And I'm going to show you again, states 41. Can you please point out to the jury what specifically led you to believe he was moved? Initially, when we arrived at the scene, we knew that there were 2 cartridge cases in the kitchen. However, we only saw the one bullet hole in the top portion of the kitchen cabinet. And that lined up with the blood pool on this side of the kitchen island, so the right side in this photograph. So we assumed, or I assumed, that that shot caused him to fall down. He bled, and then you can see these drops of blood Everybody cut themselves and dripped blood, and some movement in the blood, and these palm prints. So it appeared that he was face down and possibly crawling around the kitchen floor. And then he ended up on this side where he bled more and died. So if somebody's crawling around and they just bleed out and die, you would assume that they would be face down.
The evidence showed that Chad was shot in the back of the head. He crawled across the kitchen floor and was shot a second time in the back of the head, but he was face up when deputies found his body. It's believed that Chad was rolled over so that whoever shot him could clip a gun holster to his belt. Christine Snyder, who's the crime scene supervisor for the Seminole County Sheriff's Department, explained why the holster was unusual.
The firearm was inside of a holster, which you can see on the screen. The holster had a metal clip which attached it to the belt. However, it was placed between the pants and the belt, which would make it unstable. The metal clip was on the outside across the belt, and the holster was inside of the belt between the pants and the belt. The gun itself was placed inside of the holster, and it was in this position on his body, which was strange because we learned from his son Jason that he was right-handed. So if you're holding or if you're carrying a firearm and you want to draw it quickly, you're going to grab it here. And in this case, the grip isn't in the right location. So if somebody was carrying the firearm in this manner, they would most likely be left-handed, and they would have to do a cross draw, where they pull it out this way. This is not a very common way to carry a firearm because it's a little bit harder to get to. It takes longer to pull it out. And I've heard of people who are left-handed who shoot right-handed, but it's very not as common for a right-handed person to shoot with their left hand. So normally, if you're carrying a firearm, you would probably put it inside of your pants for stability, especially a large gun like this, and he's a smaller individual. And you would have the grip towards the side. So then you can grab it quickly and pull it out. If you were carrying it the way that he has it, and you're right-handed, you would have to pull it out awkwardly, point it at yourself, and then point it towards somebody to fire it, which just doesn't make any sense. If you were right-handed and you were doing a cross draw, you would carry it on the other side and pull it out this way. But the only way that this is strange for a right-handed person to carry it this way.
Not only was the position of the holster odd, but the fact that Chad had clearly crawled through blood, but the holster was perfectly clean, showed that the holster was placed on the body after the fact. The crime scene analyst also found a drop of blood on Chad's pants under the holster. Someone was trying to make it look like Chad had a gun on him prior to his death. Investigators believe Cody was the last to be shot.
So on the right cheek, there's a gunshot wound entrance, and that wound involved the skin, the soft tissue in the area, the right maxillary bone of the face, the right sphenoid bone of the skull. It crosses the midline and involved the brainstem, and it continued to involve the left cerebellar hemisphere of the brain and the left occipital bone of the skull. And finally, on the back of the head, there was a gunshot wound exit.
Cody's body was found just inside the door that came into the house from the garage. He was still in his work scrubs and had the backpack he took with him to work. It appeared as if Cody was shot in the face the minute he walked in the door. Near Cody's body was one of the 9mm guns that he owned. The question became whether Cody had killed his parents and then himself. There were 4 shell casings collected from the scene, which matched the amount of times the victims had been shot. Bullets collected from the scene were sent to the forensics lab for comparison, but strangely, the bullets were found to not have come from the shell casings. The shell casings had been fired from Cody's gun, but the bullets did not match the rifling of the same gun. Also, investigators found no gunshot residue on Cody's hands, and there was no stippling on the bullet wound to his face. Stippling is when the skin gets burned by gunpowder when a gun is discharged close to the skin. The lack of stippling meant that the gun was fired from at least 3 feet away, not something that Cody could have done himself. So someone managed to get into the house without any signs of forced entry, shot all 3 family members, and attempted to make it look like a murder-suicide. The absence of Grant from the scene made him a prime suspect. Jason was also a suspect, but was quickly cleared. Crime scene analysts went to Jason's employer and searched him and his car. Then they searched his house. He had no injuries, and they found no blood or weapons anywhere. He also had an alibi, as he was out to dinner with his girlfriend and her daughters at the time authorities believed the crimes were committed.
3 murders, one after another. Deliberate, controlled, calculated. Grant attempted to stage the scene as a murder-suicide, but investigators would later find numerous inconsistencies. Grant fled to a hotel. When police found him, he was calm, polite, detached.
There was no evidence of forced entry. Nothing appeared to be taken from the home.
But one brother living at home was missing, Grant Amato.
So then our investigation led us to find him and see what was going on.
Detectives discovered him checked in at a nearby motel.
Our thought process was, why is Grant not at the home and at a hotel?
You're being cooperative, sir. We appreciate that. Some Seminole County detectives want to talk to you, so we're going to get the handcuffs off of you.
No weapons, no evidence of blood, and the handcuffs were taken off Grant.
We spoke with him, and he was willing to come with us voluntarily to the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. My partner, Danny Anderson, transported him there, and that's when he and I began interviewing him.
During questioning, Grant denied everything. He never asked how his family died. He suggested Cody might have done it. Even when confronted with evidence, he showed little emotion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So you got to walk through coke or anything?
No. I'll hold off on that.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Eva.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm here.
Hey, we really appreciate you coming up here with us. And if any time during this you need to stop and go to the bathroom, want a drink, then just let me know, and we'll be happy to get to it. My name is Danny Anderson, and I'm a deputy Seminole County Sheriff's Office, as is Eva. So we just want to talk to you a little bit, and we'll get this in and out, be on our way. Okay. Full name?
My full name is Grant Amato.
What is there any special nursing degree? What you do, or?
I have like other certifications. But with that, like I primarily worked in the hospital for I think 5 or 6 years. Well, I was accused of grand theft of the 3rd degree back in June of 2018. There was no evidence ever presented. All the charges were dropped. I had been applying for jobs for the last couple weeks. I'd gotten like 3 or 4 callbacks, and then I went on a job interview yesterday for a home infusion nurse job.
What time was your interview yesterday?
It was scheduled for 10. I got there at around 9 in the morning. And then I think we actually had the interview at about 9:45.
How'd that go?
It was all good. They didn't have anything. They said that they'd probably be getting back to me by Tuesday or Thursday this coming week.
Get you back to work?
Yeah, because, it's a crappy world when, you don't have any money, you can't do anything, so.
Financially, how's the nursing what you did? I'm sorry, I just don't know that much. She knows a lot more about nursing. The nursing, how does it pay? How does it pay?
If you work your standard 3 12 hours a week, you get anywhere between, I'd say, $45,000 and $55,000 a year. So, it's not bad. I think my best year, I made like $55,000.
55.
Because I rarely worked overtime.
Right.
When I was because I had the whole plan of going to graduate school, so I was just kind of using it as a stepping stone for that time.
Just to pay the bills to get you where you gotta. Gotcha. And what you were going for, what does that pay?
Nurse anesthesia pays I mean, base, like, about 150 up to 175.
Okay. High school, where'd you go?
I went to Timber Creek.
How were you raised?
High school and the first 2 years of college, I was A, B, C. You know, I was in honors in the major program for UCF.
Girlfriends?
Girlfriends. I had, like, my high school sweetheart girlfriend for about 5 years. And then ever since then, no, like, official girlfriends, no flings or anything like that.
Dates here and there?
Dates occasionally, but, I mean, not really. Kind of focused on, like, just getting through the life goals that, you know, I wanted to achieve.
What do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I like to watch anime.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I don't know what it is.
I mean...
I thought you said MMA. I'm like, okay, and then when you start explaining to it,
I mean,
I heard it, I'm like, no.
It's animated, it's like cartoons, I guess you could say, but it's Japanese cartoons. It is in Japanese, and then they subtitle it. Yeah.
You speak Japanese?
I was going to say, do you understand?
I don't. I understand a few words. We actually just went to, me, my brother, and one of my friends, or I guess friends from high school, we went to Japan.
In fact, how long have you been out of work?
I've been out of work for 6 months, since June.
How did you pay? That's a lot of money for to be out of work.
My brother.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. I think the only other game that we really played was Fortnite, but then that was starting to get to, like...
That's a big deal right now.
Yeah.
The younger
kids are all over it.
And actually, yeah, during the time that I was, that I wasn't working as a nurse, I tried to do the whole Twitch streaming thing.
What is that?
I'm
sorry.
No.
You have to explain a lot of this to us?
With Twitch, it's, you got your mic and then you have your face cam, and then basically people are just watching you play whatever game you're going to say that you're playing.
Okay.
On virtual reality, it was primarily just Beat Saber, so it's like a rhythm-based game, like Guitar Hero. Apart from that, we really didn't get into too many other games yet, because we were kind of just focused on Beat Saber. But I think we had downloaded a few other where it's just like you're going through like a world and you can interact with the world or something like that.
Close with your brother Cody? Let's talk about Cody.
Oh yeah. Me and Cody.
Who's older, you or him?
He is. I'm the youngest one. I'm 29. He's 31. Okay. My oldest brother Jason is 35 or 36 now.
Talk about Cody.
Cody. You know, we decided to go to nursing school together. We decided to go to the nurse anesthesia school together. A lot of people thought that it was weird because we did everything together and because we were so close, but yeah, I mean...
Yeah, a lot of people understand the bond of brothers, though.
Yeah.
The true bond if you're close with your brother.
And I mean, during like this whole time, I mean, kind of like with just a few examples I've given you, he'd take care of everything for me.
Always there for you.
Yeah.
Always there to support you.
Always there. Yeah, did everything together, connected at the hip.
Ever any issues really with him?
No, like I was saying, during this last 6 months, it had been a very trying time. He would like have his moments where he would get extremely upset. Like, you know, he never gets violent, I guess you could say. But like at one point he got so upset that he like pushed a cabinet and then it like dented into the wall. Yeah, I mean, at least with me, he's always been like where he's there for me. Like whatever it takes, regardless of what's happening, I'm gonna take care of it for you.
Tell me about your mom.
My mom has, she's always been the, kind of like Cody, she's always been the one that focused on me, and,
Were you the baby? You were truly the family baby?
For my mom.
So she's...
Yeah.
Okay.
For my mom.
Mom's favorite?
Yeah. You know, countless times my dad would, like, come up to me, and he'd make, like, me feel... Like, he'd try and use things and word things to make me feel guilty so that I would, you know, do everything that I can, like get a job.
Almost like a motivation?
Right. And he'd tell me time and time again that, you know, you're her favorite. I mean, she would do anything for you. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't need to hear that. I mean, that's not what would motivate me.
Sure.
But no, with Mom, I think we yelled at each other a grand total of like 3 or 4 times my whole life. Never any issues. I mean, it was always, like, if there was somebody that I could talk to and, like, Cody wasn't available, I'd always talk to my mom. I'd always let her know what's going on. Yeah, I mean, she would help me out through anything.
Okay. Tell me about Dad.
Dad,
what does he do?
Dad's a pharmacist.
Okay.
He works for CVS. He's been a pharmacist for, I think, 35 years or so. My dad was a very, like, angry, violent type person.
Overbearing?
Overbearing. You know, like baseball practice, it'd be like 4 or 5 hours, and he's hurling the ball as fast as an adult can, and we're like 7th, 8th grade trying to catch this stuff.
Belittle you?
He would belittle me when I was younger. The problem, I guess, was that I was always like the jokester, the one that could calm everybody down, make everybody smile. If it was a heated situation, I could say a joke or something and then make everybody kind of move past it. And I was just in the point where it's like, you know, I'm hearing, you know, all this stuff from Dad, I'm seeing how much Cody's helping me, you know, Mom's stressed out with her job, and it's like I'm not doing anything.
When's the last time your dad put his hands on you?
The last time my dad put his hands on me would be, I'd say, kind of the middle of December of 2018.
What happened?
It's because, you know, with all the money that had been getting spent and...
Just to be clear, the CAM model has not yet been brought up in the discussion. The money being spent, in this context, would simply be his living expenses.
I guess just the mix of everything that I've been saying, just kind of boiling up in him. And the fact that I was, to him, it seemed like I wasn't concerned about it. So, and then plus I was, you know, I wasn't acting like myself with the jovialness and, you know,
Sure.
all that kind of stuff. My father chose to admit me to like a depression or an addiction clinic or something like that in Fort Lauderdale called Cornerstone.
When was that?
That was December 22nd.
Okay.
Until I think January 4th.
Did you agree to go?
I didn't, but they said that, you know, this was your only...
Who said?
My dad.
Okay.
And that was in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes, yeah.
Did your mom agree with it?
My mom and my brother both agreed, but it was my dad who was like the iron fist, like, this is what's going to happen. Like, you know, he can't...
Why did he say you needed to go? What was his reasoning?
Because with the way that I was acting, he didn't see that I was doing anything for, like, the positive. You know, and a lot of it just came back to money with him. He would like allow me to spend money that he had, like with his credit card or something like that. But it's like then whenever I did, it was like a huge problem.
Okay, so you had one of his credit cards.
Yeah.
And what were you buying with it?
Well, what I was doing is over the past 4 months or something like that, I've been talking to this woman online.
Who's she?
She's as embarrassing as it is. She's a cam model.
A what?
A cam model. Do
All right.
either of you guys know what that
Nope.
is?
Just like all the videos, you have to tell us.
A cam model, it's like it's like a virtual girlfriend, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Like that type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the money went to her.
Okay. Where's she at?
She lives in Bulgaria.
Where?
Bulgaria.
Where's that?
Over in Europe. It's like
Okay.
outside of Germany.
Okay.
Something like that.
You ever been there?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't that serious.
Okay.
So what would you give her money for?
Just for like the time online with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was just like that type of thing.
And what did she charge?
$600 for like 5,000 or something tokens or something like that. So, and then it was 4 hours a night. So I mean that's basically just where all the costs went to, was you pay real money for the tokens, then you use the company's digital currency for that.
So you do that, and when did you meet her?
I met her at the beginning of July. Yeah, at the very beginning of July.
Okay, and still talking to her?
Still, yeah. I mean, more just on like Twitter, like
Okay.
just through direct messaging. Again, cell phone service doesn't work, so it's like I can't use the chatting like that.
How much do you think you spent on this? Because it seems kind of pricey.
Yeah, probably close to like $200,000, I'd say.
$200,000?
Yeah.
And where'd the money come from?
Money came from me, my brother, and then my dad.
Did they know where the money was going to?
They didn't know that it was going to a cam model. I was saying that it was going towards my Twitch streaming, like advertising, like putting my name out there and that type of thing. So I guess to like bring it all back with why I was brought to Cornerstone, it was a mix of all of those things. It's like he felt like, you know, he felt like
You need to be grounded.
Yeah. And so then I was there, you know, I spoke to like the therapist and psychiatrist and all that stuff. I didn't need any medications for anything. They had analyzed it as, this is an isolated event. You've been out of work, you have this PTSD from the whole getting arrested thing, and I mean, the last thing on my record was, I think, a speeding ticket back when I was at UCF. They had signed me up, I think, to be there for 60 days, but then I was only there until January 4th, so...
Who paid for that?
My brother, Cody.
What was the cost of that, do you know?
$15,000.
So their final diagnosis of you was what?
That I was fine. That...
Didn't need to be there.
Yeah. That I was fine. I told them all about like my living situation and how it had been stressful, and then it got better, and then now it's just stressful again. But they had all just said that it was just this isolated event.
Situational PTSD from...
Right. When I got back, that's where my dad started to get really kind of overbearing, and I mean rightfully so. I know what I did, but it's like with him, it was every single day, hours a day. Hours a day. He'd come home from work, and then he would just talk to me just about the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again.
When was the last time that you and your dad did have, you know, a heated conversation?
It would be Thursday, because one of his rules was that I wasn't allowed to talk to the woman anymore that I had been talking to. But I guess you could say behind the scenes, my mom would let me talk to her through her cell phone using Twitter. So yeah, anyways, on Thursday, he had apparently found out that I was speaking to her again. You know, it wasn't really my intention to continue talking to this woman, but it just kind of happened. And then because there was like that emotional connection, I guess you could say, between her and me, like I like, you know, it felt like a relationship. You know, I didn't want to just stop cold turkey on it.
So Thursday, you're home all day.
Yes.
With your mom. She works at home.
Correct, yeah.
Your dad's at work. What's his normal work hours?
He works until, I think he had to go in early that day, because he had to start like doing overtime or something like that. And he normally works though from like 5 or 6 in the morning to, I think he gets home between like 5:30 and 6 at night or something like that.
What time did you get home that day?
He got home at like 5:30, and then he came in and then he asked me, in a calmer state, I guess you could say, like basically the leading question of, you know, why do you think we're about to have this conversation? Giving me, I guess, that opportunity to be honest and truthful, to maybe tone it down a little bit. I, of course, did what I always did, where I kind of didn't admit to it. And then he came out and he told me that I had been doing that.
He had proof.
Yeah.
Have an argument?
Yeah. He kind of, you know, pulled me up from the couch, and then he was yelling at me to pack my shit up and just get out of the house. That he was the one who had to be the hammer, and that, you know, why am I making him have to go through this, and all this other kind of stuff.
Okay.
I had my argument, and then I'm packing my stuff, I'm, you know, taking it out to the car. It took me like a couple hours to get as much as I could, just kind of out into there. So I left.
Okay.
And then
what time do you think you left about?
Oh, God. 9 or 9:30 or so.
He goes on to state that he met up with his brother soon after on the side of the road.
And what was the conversation?
Conversation was basically that he was brought up to speed, you know, and that he would take care of it.
He was brought up to speed by what?
This is Grant attempting to frame his brother for a double murder-suicide. You will see this quote brought up repeatedly from this point forward.
He was brought up to speed on, like, why I'm out here.
Who brought him up to speed?
My mom.
Oh, so she talked to him?
Yeah.
He told you that mom had talked to him?
Right.
Do you think that's why Cody left work?
According to Grant, Cody had left work a few hours early to meet up with him on the side of the road. Cody had indeed left work early, yet it wasn't to meet up with Grant. It was later proven that while Margaret Amato was sitting at the computer sipping on a glass of red wine, Grant shot her in the back of the head. He then lay in wait for his father to return to the house, then shot him twice in the head as he entered the kitchen. Cody then received a text from his father's number, asking him to come home urgently. Forensics believed that he was very likely pleading for his life soon after he entered the front door. He was found by police with a gunshot wound to the face, lying in the fetal position. His credit card was stolen, with a purchase made to a campsite for $600 and estimated 30 minutes later.
I mean, in my mind, I was just thinking, oh, he had been let off work early like three times already this week. So I was just like
10-15 minutes you talk to Cody.
Right.
You have a conversation, and he leaves to go home.
Right.
And you leave to go where?
And then I stay in that general area just so that if anything happens, somebody like knows where I am. Yeah, I mean, I was staying in that general area, and then I decided to go
to Publix, which was about what time?
Like between like midnight and 1, I think. Yeah.
And you go to Publix midnight 1, and how long did you stay there till?
I stayed there until like 7.
Slept there last night? Talked to anybody?
I messaged the girl that I had been talking to on Twitter.
Yeah. On Twitter, so you have to pay for it.
Right.
Did she respond back to you?
I think once.
The discussion is then brought back to his last meeting with Cody.
And then when you left Cody, what did he say he was going to go do?
Cody said that he will take care of it.
Take care of what?
Just the situation that was at hand with whatever he had been updated with from my mom.
Did he tell you what he was updated?
He had told me the reason why like I had been kicked out. But he really didn't give me that much dialogue like about that situation. You know, he was miffed a little bit because, you know, he had just gotten off work and now he has to go deal with this.
But what was your demeanor? Like, what did Cody see you as? Like, were you
like scared?
Upset?
Yeah, I was scared because, I mean, like I said, it's the first time that I had been out of the house.
We've come and talked to you.
Okay.
You rode up here voluntarily with us to talk to us. Why do you think we're having this conversation?
I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty freaked out at this point because, you know, it's, I mean, I know, like, how the situation was when I left.
As a child, we're told the truth always is the best thing to do, correct?
Correct.
You agree with me?
Yeah.
And accidents happen, and things in the heat of the moment, things happen that we wish hadn't happened. But I do it myself sometimes. My kids will make me so aggravated, I'll snap at them and then walk away and say, wow, I wish I would not have done that. That was not very adult of me to snap at my child for something. Yes, they're wrong, but I should be the adult and not snap at them.
Right.
Tell me what you think, because I can tell I've done this for a long, long time, and I read people, the way they act, and the way they talk to me, and the way they answer questions. There's something you want to tell us. I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your body language, and just the way you act. Now's the time. Now's the time. If there's something you want to get off your chest and give us an explanation of what's bothering you, now is the exact time to do it. And I'm giving you that opportunity right now to tell me something you want to get off your chest. It's there. I can see it in your face. I can see it in your eyes.
Kept out about that night.
You're upset about it. You've been that since we've talked to you. I can see there's something been bothering you. Even though I don't know you from Adam's house, can't you see things in people that something's really bothering this guy? It's not that, you know, I spent a bunch of money I shouldn't have on this girl. So be it. You did. It's over with. Money can be made back. Something's bothering you.
I'm just worried about what is all transpiring from this.
I think at this point right now, to be honest with you, Grant, you know what it is. It's in your eyes. Your eyes is the view to your soul, and it's in your eyes. And it sounds stupid, and people don't believe it. Like I told you out there in the car, did I not tell you? You may not like what I say, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth every time, because I can walk in front of anybody in God and say, I don't care, I told him the truth.
And we usually know answers before we ask it.
Right.
Me and Eva knew everything before we asked you the questions. now's the time to come to Jesus, be honest, because you're holding something back. I can see it in your eyes. People don't believe that the police will help you, but we are actually here to help you with issues you may have. I think something happened, and you don't want to tell us, but right now is the time to get it off your chest. And I really wish you would, because it will make you feel better in the end.
I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about the night or, you know, the periods of time afterwards.
There's only one opportunity to make that good impression, and if we've done something we shouldn't have done, you fess up there. You caught your hand in a cookie jar.
Detective Dan's approach here is so incredibly outdated and predictable that it actually seems to boost the suspect's confidence. It's the detective, in fact, who gives off a nervous disposition. He'll begin stumbling over his own words while simultaneously mixing up his analogies, which never made a great deal of sense to begin with.
You do it. Now,
is there anything else that happened at the house that you didn't tell us, that you've left out, or we haven't asked you, that would be of importance? Or during the time that you drove around for those few hours, did you ever really go back to the house that you haven't told us about?
I know things that you don't know, and honesty will get you all the things I can do for you. To be honest, I can't deal with someone who lies to me,
right,
but I'll deal with someone and help them till the end, no matter what. Believe it or not, that's just me, and she'll tell you, it's what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say if I can do something that can help you, I'm going to help you, because every one of us make mistakes and do things we shouldn't have done in the heat of the moment to protect ourselves or to protect somebody else. It happens. Now's the time. Now is the time.
So what do you think happened?
To be honest.
I think that there was something that obviously happened at the house.
Tell me what happened.
I don't know what happened.
I know better. Listen to me. I know better. I can help you, Grant, with honesty. I can help you with honesty.
We think something else happened before you left the home that you're either afraid of or embarrassed to talk about. But we need to know exactly what happened, because like Danny said, we can place you there at certain times. And so we need to know what happened before you left that house, because you didn't leave with everything being okay.
I honestly, I don't have anything else that I can really say. I mean, I don't know.
Do you even know why law enforcement got involved? Like what brought us to that home?
No.
Once you start telling me something that's truthful that I know, then we're going to have a conversation of exactly what happened.
I mean, you're a smart guy. You know something's happened at your home. You have law enforcement here. You haven't heard or gotten any emails from your family.
I'm just scared as to what the answer is.
Well, you need to help yourself by filling in the blanks of what happened that night so we can give you the answer. Did anything more happen with you and your father besides him grabbing you up from the couch and yelling at you and kicking you out? Anything at all? Did he harm you, hit you?
No.
Draw any weapons on you?
No, he didn't do anything like that. I mean, he was just yelling.
This is the time to come to Jesus, to be honest, because you know more. I'm looking in your eyes. Your eyes tell me exactly that you are hurting inside. I get it, brother. I get it. You're hurting.
And this is the only time we can help you.
Because once we get to a certain point, there's nothing I can do. It's in the hands of who has it. Nothing I can do. Honesty is always the best policy. You get caught stealing a car, you admit to it, I get it. How can I get help? What can be done to help me? And let me tell you the rest of my story. You're holding back.
And if something happened that you were defending yourself, then we need to know that. If you were protecting yourself because you were in fear, then that makes sense. But we need to know exactly what happened for you to protect yourself.
You can't minimize this. Once, a wise man told me one time, once a bomb goes off, you can't defuse it. You can't. That's already out there. Now is the point to say, how do I put Band-Aids on myself to minimize the injuries I have. And we're giving you that opportunity. I want to give you that opportunity. I don't think you're a bad guy at all. I really don't. I think you're going through a very stressful and emotional time right now with being out of work and just dealing with all the problems with the arrest. You're probably not used to depending on somebody to pay all your bills. So now you have to do mom and dad or have to give you money. Cody's having to give you money. And there's a significant debt to people. $200,000, I don't know what I'd do. I mean, mortgage, yeah, I get it, or something like that, or a medical bill for my child, yeah, I get it. But talking to some girl, in Bulgaria, you hit it right on the head. You were embarrassed about it, and you have nothing to be embarrassed about. Here it is, man. I want to help you. She want to help you. You gotta come to me with the truth now, because I already know the truth.
There's a reason you didn't go back to the house. There's a reason why you haven't tried to reach out. I mean, it's odd you haven't heard from anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's words that like I can't think of to even say. Like I don't know how to even say the words.
Well, give me a roundabout what you're thinking.
That somebody in my family's dead.
And how does that make you feel if you're thinking that?
I have absolutely no ability to comprehend the words, because like I said, I've been there for my whole entire life, and even though there's been struggles and everything like that, there hasn't ever been any issues.
There's never been the struggles or the issues like happened Thursday. Never for you. I believe you 100%. I believe it's never been like that. But something happened Thursday unlike anything you've ever experienced in 29 years of your life. Never.
And maybe you felt that was rock bottom for you. You were getting kicked out of the house. Your father gave you an ultimatum. I mean, that's, you're already dealing with the debt, and, now you have to stop talking to this girl, and now you're being kicked out of the home. I mean, I can understand how you would feel. I mean, that you'd want to lash out, or, if something happened, you'd want to defend yourself.
Sure. Absolutely.
But we need to know what happened.
I mean, I can tell that you guys are, like, leading me into a certain way of what...
The only thing we're leading you to is wanting to get the truth from you. Not trying to make you say something that's not true, that's not accurate. The truth. The end. That's it. That's all we want is the absolute truth.
I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about what transpired during the nighttime.
So when you left your house, everybody was fine.
Yeah.
And when you left Cody,
everything was fine.
Well, we got called to the house because Cody didn't show up to work. So law enforcement goes over there, and can you tell us what we found?
No, the only thing that I was told was that Cody would take care of it for me. And that's all that I know.
So if anything happened in the home, to bring law enforcement there, what would you think happened?
That there was a shooting.
Between whom?
I don't know. Between Cody and my dad.
And why would you think that?
To protect me, or to help me, or to do something with me.
So you're telling me you did not shoot Cody,
No.
your father, or your mother?
No. I mean, I don't know, like, what more I can say.
Well, when law enforcement arrived, that's what they found. So you're the only outstanding child. You're the one that's been having problems with your dad. You're the one that we haven't been able to find for 2 days. Do you understand now why we would be questioning you about this?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't, like, I wouldn't be saying, like, all, like, I don't know the way to, I don't know, like, what to even say.
So if anything happened in the home, you believe it would be Cody and him?
Yes. Because I don't have, access to anything.
We know that Cody didn't shoot your dad. We know Cody didn't shoot your mom. We know Cody didn't shoot himself. There's something.
And you still haven't asked us the condition of them or anything.
That's because I mean, I don't know what the normal proceedings are, but
The normal proceedings are for you to be honest about what happened.
And then we help you understand everything that's going on from here on out, of what our responsibilities are.
And we don't believe you're being honest. We feel that you are leaving something out about what happened in that home. And the evidence tells us what happened in the home. But you need to fill in the blanks.
Here's my hand for honesty. I am an honest guy. I'm going to be honest. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to be honest to the very last day that I deal with you. And then when this investigation continues, I'll go on to the next person to be honest with them. I can only do so much with honesty. Honesty.
So what are you not telling us? What happened at that home that you know? Did you leave the house with your brother Cody looking like that? Or did you leave the house with your father looking like that? Or your mother? Is that how you left your family?
No.
Nobody else went into that house.
Who left your family like this? If you were the one that's been depressed, you were the one that owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father, who did this to your family? If you were trying to defend yourself or something else happened, we need to know now to help you. So tell us what happened, Grant. We're here to listen to you.
Grant, you need the truth. We're here to make this right. You got to tell the truth. It's on the tip of your tongue, my man. I get that.
Did your father go after you and you try to protect yourself?
No, I didn't do any of this.
Hey, I know. Video surveillance tells me everything that happened this night. I'm telling you. Of people that you'd be surprised who in your neighborhood has video. And I know that there's only 4 people at this house during this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me. You got to tell me, man. You got to tell me. Get over that hoop. The video. If you're sitting there saying no, and video shows something else, guess what? Big problem. Because it will wind up later on that you can't get any help from anybody. A lot of this, what people make decisions on, is honesty. Was somebody honest? Didn't fire a gun. None of them did. Cody did not go home.
Or did your father point a gun at you?
No, there's nothing else that I can say.
Your emotions, your demeanor, your body language, your eyes tell me everything I need to see about you. You want to tell me in the worst way. You want to get this pain off your chest. Do it.
I mean, there's just nothing else that I can say.
So your dad had told you in the past before that he would kill you?
Right.
For what reason?
For if I basically did anything related to this, again, costing him a lot of money.
And Cody knew about that?
Right.
So when did you learn that your family was dead?
I had been worried since last night when I was just in the hotel, but I knew when you guys told me. I mean, like, I knew when you guys had told me.
You already knew, though.
But I had...
You already said, you knew.
At any point, did you feel like you needed to reach out to Cody and see if he was okay, or...?
I just didn't want to call anywhere. I just didn't want to know.
We understand your father was abusive, and we understand that he was the asshole. And if he threatened you, that he was going to kill you when you came back, you were probably in fear, were you not? So did your brother come home to try and defend you, and then this gunfight happened, and you got so scared that you left?
No, I mean, I had left when I had said that I had left.
I just don't know where else to go to get you to come around, because It does not make any logistical sense of what you're telling us. It doesn't. If these two got in a shooting, we would know. We would know they shot each other. We'd know that.
But why Mom?
Things just got so bad and out of hand, like never it's been before in your life. Never been here before in your life, or in your family's life. He's pissed. His future, his retirement, his plans are being upset by you because of the financial cost. I would almost bet this is just a horrible, bad incident that on any other day wouldn't happen. But you and me both know, as does she, what happened that night.
I don't have the answer for anything else.
Okay. This is the last time before I'm gonna walk out now, and then I'm done. Then I'm done for good. When I'm done, I'm done.
I don't have anything else that I can say.
Do you not feel bad for doing this to your family?
I mean, I've been getting blamed for the last half a year for everything, and I've been trying to move forward into a positive direction. And then every day I'm reminded of all the trouble that I had caused. And then I keep being told the same thing over and over again, but there's nothing that I can do to change it.
Do you regret doing this to each one of your family members?
I didn't do that to each one of them.
Here, you sit in my seat for a minute. Sit in my seat. Get out of it. Here, sit right here. Come here. Sit right here. Get out of that seat. Sit right there for me.
The suspect still isn't sitting in his seat.
Two things that happened here today. Two things. You're a guy swimming out in the middle of the ocean, and we're going to give you one of two things based on you. You can have a life preserver to keep from drowning, or you get the boat anchor. It's which one do you want? Because we will give you whichever one you ask for. The life preserver, the boat anchor.
I want the life preserver that I've said everything that I can.
You want it, and I believe you do, but you have not said everything you can say. But there will be a time where you ask for that life preserver. I can't give it to you. I can't. Once I cross a line I gotta step over, can't do it. Won't do it. Think about that. I want to talk to her for a minute. Think about the last life preserver I can give you. Think about it. Take a few minutes just to reflect on it, and then we'll come back to you in a couple of minutes, and then we'll go from there. And what happens is what happens. Fair enough? You alright, Grant? Okay. Need some food, some water? Good. You good to stay for a while longer? You okay?
I mean, I just don't have anything more that I can say. I don't know what the next.
I'm not keeping you. If you want to stay, well, I'll talk to you till whatever, till you're happy with everything and you're okay. You're not detained. You're not being kept here. Don't want to be here. You don't have to be here.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay. Give me a minute. We'll get you out of here. What we'll do is we'll get you up somewhere. I'll give you my card, my phone number. If you want to talk to me, you're more than welcome to call me. And we'll move forward from there. Fair enough? Any questions of me before I go? Or before we walk out? I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Like, what am I allowed to do?
Live your life. Hey man, we're right there at it. Jason's here. It's going to be a few more minutes. What I need to do is just for our investigation, get some pictures of you. We're going to collect your clothing. As soon as that's done, we'll get Jason here to talk to you. All right. All right.
So, I take it you know what happened?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you plain out, you are not part of it anyway.
No.
When's the last time you saw everybody?
I left the house between midnight and 12:30.
I want to believe you, Grant, but you're the last person that I could put in that house. And I know what happened over the last 6 months. Who else can I blame? How are we going to find out who did this?
I don't know. I don't have the answers.
The shit you did, you could have been in jail. You would have been in jail for years.
I know.
And they covered it up for you. I'm scared for you, and I'm scared for myself, and I don't feel comfortable with you being around me alone. I'm sorry. I could take you physically, but if you have a knife or know where a gun is, I'm fucked. I need you to be honest with me, man. I need to have closure. I was told that you would not have access to be able to contact this woman. Why do you feel the intent to still contact her?
It was just the whole emotional thing. I mean, that's all
Okay,
that I can say.
so are you saying that you love the woman?
I feel like I did, yeah.
Okay, you feel like you did, so you don't feel that way now?
Well, I mean, now it's pretty much, it's not what it used to be, is all I can say.
Because she's aware of what has happened in the last several months.
Right.
It hurt, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't carry that persona that you carried before. I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less.
You have anything else you need to talk about before we let you go? Because now's your time. You know that. Like Danny said, once you're out of here, there's no coming back from this. We're giving you every opportunity to tell us what happened in that home that you have not told us. So you're aware that when you leave here, you're not going to have any chance to redeem yourself and tell us the truth after the fact.
I understand.
And you're okay with that. You can live with yourself knowing that you're not going to tell us the truth.
I've said what I can say.
Okay.
You ready, man? Yeah. Question for you real quick. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt anybody else. No suicidal thoughts. Okay, come on, bud.
Eventually, detectives arrested him. At trial, prosecutors laid out the full story. The obsession, the money, the motive.
Grant Amato was so obsessed with this woman. You're going to see from the evidence in this case, at 2:53 a.m. on January 25th, after leaving the house that contained the 3 dead bodies of his family, the defendant goes to a nearby Publix parking lot, logs onto their Wi-Fi, and uses his dead brother's USA checking account to pay $599.99 to get onto Sylvie's website at 3:02 in the morning. That's what this case is about. It's about his blind obsession with this woman, the end of the world as he believed it to be because of his family, and his absolute contempt for those that he held responsible.
So opening statements are expected to begin today in a new trial out of Florida, the People versus Grant Amato, and he faces the potential of the death penalty.
I mean, this case had everything. It had sex, drugs, it was just missing the rock and roll.
State, do you wish to make an opening statement at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
First of all, let me wish everyone good morning.
Prosecutor Stuart Stone began with the graphic crime scene photos.
What the defendant did in this case is he staged a murder-suicide scene.
The prosecutor told the jury Grant Amato not only killed his family, but then took the time to make it appear that his beloved brother Cody was the one who did it.
What he did was he placed a handgun near Cody's body and 4 shell casings in the vicinity of each body to correspond to the number of wounds. But the bullets that were recovered that killed the victims were not fired from that gun.
And the prosecutor said a holster with a gun on it, found on his father Chad's right hip, was also clearly planted.
To make it appear that there was some kind of confrontation between Cody and Chad that required Chad to arm himself. The holstered gun was placed on Chad's hip, backward, for a right-handed shooter.
And then another grisly piece of evidence, that Grant Amato had used his dead father's finger to gain access to his father's phone and bank account through the fingerprint opening device on the father's phone.
His USA bank account app was accessed to add an account for funds transfer. The account that was added for funds transfer was the defendant's PNC bank checking account.
And finally, the jury was told about Sylvie, the Bulgarian webcam sex pot.
And when his parents found out about his, quote, relationship with Sylvie and the tremendous amounts of money that he was spending on her, they contacted her, and that effectively ended his relationship with Sylvie. And to Grant Amato, that was the end of the world. There was nothing to live for, and he was furious with his family for ending his world. That's what this case is about. It's about his blind obsession with this woman, the end of the world as he believed it to be because of his family, and his absolute contempt for those that he held responsible. That's what this case is about. Thank you.
For the defense, Grant Amato's lawyers knew they were up against overwhelming circumstantial evidence.
It was a hard-fought trial throughout the whole thing.
So in his opening, Jared Shapiro focused instead on what the prosecution did not have.
The evidence will show that there is a complete lack of physical evidence linking Mr. Amato to these deaths.
The fact that there was no physical evidence was a huge plus for us.
No murder weapon was ever found, and even though Grant, with his brother and friends, often went to shooting ranges, his lawyer said Grant had sold off all of his weapons.
The evidence will show that Mr. Amato sold these firearms in order to continue being able to afford to remain in contact with Sylvie.
And finally, the motive.
I mean, there was tension with the dad, that's for sure. But with his brother and his mother, he was very close with them. I mean, there really wasn't any motive to kill them.
Therefore, after all of the evidence is shown in this case, we will request you all to return a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
Central to the prosecution's case was the 8-hour interrogation of Grant Amato, conducted by detectives Eva Marie Motari and Danny Anderson.
Investigator Anderson, come forward, raise your right hand, be ready to be sworn, please.
Detective Anderson described the session, including the part of the tape where Grant Amato is shown the photos of his dead family and appears to be crying.
Was he crying? No, I believe it to be a feigned cry.
And the detective said that over the long hours of the interrogation, Grant never once denied killing his family, what the prosecution would call a tacit admission.
He's not denying. He said there's nothing else he can say, which to me is different than I did not do it.
But defense lawyer Jeff Dowdy was ready to bore down on cross-examination.
I really attacked some of the witnesses in the trial.
Challenging Detective Anderson for lying to Grant Amato during the interrogation.
You could tell him that you know where he was because of his cell phone?
In some cases, yes, sir.
Okay, but that wasn't the truth, was it?
Not completely, no, sir.
Just a strategy, because he didn't have a cell phone on. You also told him that there was surveillance that shows no one else came to that house.
Yes, sir, I told him that.
Okay. And of course, we all know that's not true.
Again, a tactic to elicit a response from him, yes, sir.
Right.
And then a series of questions about the use of Grant's brother Jason in the interrogation.
And you're hoping that he might elicit something or say something that would incriminate him?
Yes, sir.
But why, instead of zeroing in on Jason as a suspect, was all the focus on Grant?
So we did narrow in on him. His story makes no sense. His explanation is impossible, and he just continues to lie about the most mundane things. Including Grant's version of going to the Publix grocery store right after the murder and how he got the money to contact Sylvie. So everything that this whole case is around is this money and this Bulgarian cam girl. So Dad gives you, he's giving you the ultimatum, you're out of the house and I'm going to kill you if you set foot on my property again. But during the course of the search warrant of his room, we find Dad's credit card. Why would, in our minds, why would Dad give him a credit card to use if he's kicking you out of the house for the rest of your life? But Anderson wasn't through yet. Under Florida law, jurors can pose questions themselves, read by the judge, and a number of them seem to think Jason could be the killer.
You didn't find the conversation between Jason and Grant strange, like Jason was setting him up? Has Jason's financials been gone through?
We've looked at everybody involved in this investigation. I didn't take it as Jason setting his brother up. We can account for Jason's time during the time of the deaths of these family. To go backwards and forwards, we can account for his times. And another question from a juror, again about the failure to pursue Jason.
Question is, why was person of interest Jason not brought in for a chat like Grant? Both would have been a person of interest.
We could verify his locations, and none of them were anywhere near the Chuliota Salt and Circle area. But the questions from the judge and the jury gave the defense team hope they had raised reasonable doubts. And now they had to decide whether to put Grant Amato on the stand to testify as their last witness.
And what I told the judge, I said, at this point, we intend to call Mr. Amato to the stand.
He was very stoic throughout the entire trial, with two exceptions. The first was when the bodies of his family members were displayed in the courtroom. He was crying. And the second is when a picture of Sylvie was displayed on the courtroom. But you could just see his head just transfixed on the pictures of Sylvie.
And throughout the trial, Grant Amato had told his lawyers he wanted to testify as the final witness, so they had to talk him out of it.
Well, I was afraid that he would slip up, say something wrong.
Besides, they told their client, the jury had already seen him on the interrogation video with an emotional reaction when shown the crime scene photos.
Who left your family like this?
It's either a really incredible acting job or he didn't do it. Why subject yourself to cross-examination at that point when you've already told your story to the jury through a video?
Ultimately, I made the decision around midnight, not put him on the stand.
So the defense rested.
The attorneys will now present their final arguments. Is state ready to proceed?
And for prosecutor Dominic Leo, it was all about Sylvie.
Good morning. And so how do I show that his obsession with her was such that he'd be willing to murder his family? I don't have to show that at all. You know why? Because when I showed those pictures of Sylvie on the projector up there, I know some of you looked at him. And I know what you saw, because I saw the same thing. He was transfixed on those pictures. Tunnel vision on her.
But for his closing, defense lawyer Jeff Dowdy made not one single mention of Sylvie. Instead, his focus was on the lack of any physical evidence.
How in the world was Grant Amato able to do all these things without getting a scintilla of blood on himself? Nothing was found, no DNA or anything. The state has the burden of proving Grant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. I submit to you, they did not meet that burden.
The jury was out for most of the day.
But when you get to the 8-10 hour stage, somebody's talking. I was cautiously optimistic.
I'm told that the jury has reached a verdict and everyone's present at this point. If you could please stand, Mr. Amato.
Verdict, count 1, Margaret Amato. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. Verdict, count 2, Chad Amato, guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. Verdict, count 3, Cody Amato, guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. Say we all signed foreperson dated July 31st, 2019.
Now, the stage was set for the state to seek the death penalty for Grant Amato.
Every one of the findings that they needed to make to sentence him to death, they found. They found every one of those.
And a new team of defense lawyers took over, with the odds stacked against them.
I think the cold, calculated matter of the murder was definitely the biggest hurdle to overcome.
I just felt like that we were walking towards death. I felt like that this jury was going to sentence him to death unless they were given something significant.
And the defense hoped that would come from Grant's brother Jason, who was in the courtroom throughout much of the trial.
The rest of the Amato family were very, very angry, and they wouldn't talk to me. They wouldn't meet with me. And so, Jason was the only game in town. He was the only person from the Amato family that took the stand.
But he was called by the prosecution.
Good morning, Mr. Amato. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Stone.
With the prosecutor using Jason's testimony to show the impact of the murders of his parents and brother.
There are so many memories, stories, and special times that I will never forget. However, I will never be able to make new ones. One of the biggest things I miss is being able to talk to my mom. It's been 208 days. Sorry. I really miss her voice. Though they are gone, I want everyone to know Chad, Margaret, and Cody are amazing people that will live on forever. That's it.
Thank you. You may step down.
But Grant's lawyer, Jeffrey Luco, surprised the court, saying he had a question for Jason.
Mr. Amato, Jason, I am going to need you just for one thing.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry,
All right.
I just need him to take the stand just briefly.
All right. Mr. Amato, come back. Have a seat. You're still under oath, sir.
And for the defense now, it all depended on what was about to happen.
I broke the golden rule. You never ask a question that you don't know the answer to.
Despite everything that's happened and all the loss that you've suffered and everything, do you love your brother, Grant Amato?
Yes.
I have no other questions.
Would that one-word answer, yes, his brother still loved him, would that be enough for the jury to spare Grant Amato's life?
There was an audible sigh of relief as I was walking back to the table when he gave me that answer.
Members of the jury, attorneys will present their final arguments. Each side will have equal time. The state will go first and then the defense. Mr. Stone, you may proceed.
Well, thank you very much.
And Prosecutor Stone wasted no time in reminding the jurors of what he said was a cold and calculated, premeditated murder.
And when you're confronted with the reality that it is indeed hard to vote for the death penalty, please think of the overwhelming, mind-boggling enormity of what this defendant did. Just think about that. I say this respectfully. Every single one of you said that you can vote for the death penalty in the appropriate case. If there was ever an appropriate case, this is the one. Thank you.
Now, Jeffrey Lukal, in his closing argument to the jury, needed to paint Grant as an ordinary guy who fell victim to an obsession, Sylvie.
An addiction, something that consumed him, something that caused him to kill his family.
And he ended with a clip of the interrogation video, again focusing on what Jason had to say about loving his brother Grant.
I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less.
I ask you to consider the 98% of Grant Amato's life where he was a good person, a good boy, a good son, a good brother. I believe everything that's been presented here screams out for a life sentence. I ask you to return one. Thank you.
Under Florida law, the jury had to find the arguments for the death penalty, the aggravating factors, outweighed those against, the mitigating factors, and by a unanimous vote.
Jury verdict as to death penalty. Having unanimously found that at least one aggravating factor has been established beyond a reasonable doubt, Section A, and the aggravating factor or factors outweigh the mitigating circumstances, Section D,
It did not look good for Grant Amato.
we the jury unanimously find that Grant Amato should be sentenced to death. No. Signed, foreperson, dated August 12, 2018 in Seminole County, Florida.
No death penalty. A surprise and a relief.
I considered it a huge victory.
His life had been spared, but Grant Amato showed only the slightest reaction.
I've never been around a defendant with such a lack of emotion when so much is on the line and it's your life. I mean, there was no breakdown crying, there was no turning and hugging me because we saved his life or anything like that. It was just standing there, straight-faced, no emotion.
Nor was there any reaction from far away in Sofia, Bulgaria, and the woman who Grant was apparently willing to kill for. Grant's lawyers had tried to get in touch with Sylvie, if that was her real name, but there was no response. Once the money from Grant stopped, that was the end of the relationship.
Poor baby, I'm so sorry.
Grant Amato was convicted on 3 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree premeditated murder.
Grant Amato was not raised in chaos. He was not abused. He was not abandoned. He was supported financially, emotionally, relentlessly. And yet, when his obsession was threatened, he chose annihilation over accountability. Cases like this are often reduced to headlines, but behind them are choices. Moments where harm becomes justifiable to the person causing it. Understanding those moments does not excuse them. It reminds us how close they can be. Killers do not always look dangerous. They live among us. In this case, the danger wasn't outside the home. It was already inside.
This guy had the all-American life. Everything was fine. And in 12 months, we're standing before a jury arguing to save his life. It's just terrible the way it ended up. He will die in prison.
Until next time, stay aware and stay safe. Subscribe and watch more interesting videos like this here on Killers Among Us.